Unitarian Universalists, a hardy bunch of radical thinkers with a disdain for anything mystical or dogmatic, are conformed, nevertheless, to abiding by 7 principles that help us recognize the moral sensibilities we actually share, what we have in common with other religious liberals. The 7th principle in particular grows in power exponentially every year as its focus on life's interdependency becomes more relevant in the accumulation of data that reveals the consequences of human indifference to the natural world. The 7th principle states, we affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Now, regardless how often we have heard this principle or read it or even uttered it ourselves, isn't that last tag, of which we are a part, a concept that begs further reflection? I mean, how often have we actually stopped to consider what that means? I mean, yeah, we nod affirmatively about the web of existence in which we are constantly learning just how interconnected it all really is. The ocean currents in the Pacific affect rainfall in Africa. 10 days after Chernobyl, farmers in Vermont said their cows gave off irradiated milk. Indeed, existence is interconnected. An old Miss Peach cartoon comes to mind, which I've somehow retained. It's amazing what somehow you keep in the dark recesses of your mind. One little girl says to another, "Hey, Shirley, are you still into that metaphysical stuff?" And Shirley replies, No, I used to want to be one with the universe, but now we've decided to go our separate ways. The interconnected web of all existence of which we are a part makes clear that we cannot go our separate ways. But we attempt to do so with horrible results. The new physics assures us that we cannot go separate ways because the dualisms that we keep, mind and body, nature and human, solid and fluid, earth and sky, plant and animal, dead and alive, are dualisms which are all false. It's really all of one piece. I like Annie Dillard's observation, we're in this world only once, so we might as well get the hang of the place. We have failed in getting the hang of the place because we fail to see ourselves as part of the interconnected web of all existence. That final tag in our 7th principle, of which we are a part, describes the difficult but necessary step to finally getting the hang of the place, that we cannot go our separate ways from the universe, and that ecology, which has fast become a preoccupation among all progressive thinkers, demands an awareness of the organic unity of all things. Now, seeing the cosmos as something like, well, a great machine, there are things here, things there, there are certain objects that we can take because it's of good use to us, is an illusion that reinforces this dualistic worldview. The new cosmology, as seen in the work of Thomas Berry, purports to outline a relatively new way to view reality. Thomas Berry offers the perspective that humans are no longer understood as a special creation transcending the natural world. Instead, humans are understood as one aspect of a unified, though ever-changing, creation event, inseparably tied to the same process that brought the rest of the cosmos. The interconnected web of all existence, of which we are a part. Thomas Berry's view of reality may appear to be a new phenomenon to consider, but it's really pretty old stuff. The fact that the universe and I cannot go our separate ways points to a long-held mystical view of the unity of all existence, of which we are a part. The Tao Te Ching discusses the absolute nature of the fundamental unity, this fundamental unity called the Tao. And it says the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. In other words, once you name something, you've turned it into an object and thus created a separateness from it and a distance from it. Now, in our tradition, it would be like once you name God with distinct features, you have separated yourself from divinity. What goes around in your mind is, well, I'm here and God's there, and then there's the spiritual, and then there's the material. And all these dualisms have created a very profound implication that precludes the wholeness of all existence. I'll give you a wonderful illustration of Western Christian dualistic thinking. Thich Nhat Hanh tells the story of a conversation he once had with a Protestant minister following dinner. It wasn't me. The Christian asked Thich Nhat Hanh if he was grateful for the food he ate. And the monk said, yes. Yes, I'm grateful. And the minister then continued, if you are really grateful, how can you not believe in God? God created everything we enjoy, including the food we eat. So gratitude needs an object to which we can give thanks. And of course, for the Protestant minister, that's God over there. We need to thank him, or else how can we show our gratitude? Now, Thich Nhat Hanh didn't know what to say exactly, but he was certain he was very grateful for all his blessings. Buddhists feel grateful throughout the meal and throughout the day, he explained. And we express this by being fully aware of the food and living every moment deeply. This is how I try to express my gratitude to all of life. Before every meal, a Buddhist monk or nun will recite, "This food is the gift of the whole universe, the earth, the sky, and so much hard work." Now, this story is noteworthy because it makes clear how Christians view God as an object out there, an object perhaps of one's gratitude, which then ignores comprehending the complete unity of the cosmos. Buddhists and Eastern thought, on the other hand, feel gratitude about all of life. This gratitude that permeates the entire universe. And like the Tao made clear that to name the Tao is to lose the eternal, by naming God as separate from the earth, separate from nature, separate from us, is to lose entirely this unity of the cosmos. Again, this does not pose a radically new idea. Plotinus, a 3rd century Egyptian philosopher, wrote in a manner that we can easily grasp today if we truly grasp that we are part of the interconnected web of all existence. Plotinus wrote, "Man as he now is has ceased to be the all. But when he ceases to be an individual, he raises himself again and penetrates the whole world." Annie Dillard might have added, "Yeah, as long as we act as individuals, we'll never get the hang of this place." The realization of our essential unity prompted Meister Eckhart to wax eloquently on the fact that what we perceive as a multiplicity of things is intrinsically one. He says, all blades of grass, wood, stone, you name, all things are one. And if we jump ahead 700 years after Meister Eckhart, we'll find Barry Commoner running for president on his laws of ecology that include, and I'll mention just two. The first one, everything is connected to everything else. There is one ecosphere for all living organisms, and what affects one affects all. And Commoner's other thing that I want to invoke here is there's no such thing as a free lunch. Exploitation of nature will inevitably involve the conversion of resources from useful to useless forms. The proponents of the Keystone XL pipeline are trying to sell it as a free lunch. They fail to understand the laws of ecology. They fail to understand the ancient mystics. They're certainly ignorant of today's theoretical physics. There is no free lunch, ever.